Hi, this is Majin Oni, and here is some reviews for you today. Today we're just going to focus on the Secret Wars crossover books. I figured since I did the Convergence rant, we'll just focus on Marvel now. Alright, I didn't get them all, I don't think. But let's take a look at what we got here. MODOK #1 Assassin. This one actually was kind of funny. Basically, there's a world of thieves guilds and stuff, and MODOK interrupts a assassination attempt by Bullseye. And what really does it for me is MODOK and the way he's talking, and it's just like this running joke throughout the entire book. In a way, one way to imagine this is imagine a scientific Deadpool who just likes talking because he's intelligent, and that's MODOK Assassin. I thought the art is perfect for this book, and the storyline. I thought, the story's, it's hard to tell where this thing is going to go. It's really hard to tell too if this is going to be, is the joke going to be good enough once we go through issue 2? But I will say at least I did enjoy the first issue. I just thought it was kind of funny, and I think we need books that are a little bit funny from time to time. All right, Inferno. Basically, what's going on here is we get a couple of different stories here. One is what happened, in a sense, a year ago, and then, the aftermath, or I should say 5 years ago, and then the aftermath. Basically, what happens is the X-Men try to save Peter's sister, and it doesn't go well. Cyclops gets his back broken, Colossus gets his arm deformed, and it just jumps to that 1 year where it's like basically they have a zone that's protected from the demon invasion, and Peter comes to say, look, Scott, I worked for you for a year, now it's time to give me some X-Men so this way we can save my sister again. And Scott doesn't really want to waste mutant lives because, I'll be honest, it doesn't matter how many mutants you send into that demonic mess, there's gonna be some serious death. But Scott reluctantly agrees and they lets them go through. So once they get into Manhattan, there's a lot of fighting. Now the artwork's okay. It's not the greatest in the world. The fighting in itself, it's also not wonderful fighting. It's just basically fighting against mass numbers type drawing. So, it's okay, but it's not the greatest. If anything, the ending of this book is where it's really is going to probably pique some people's interest. This to me was not one of the strongest books, but I can see where this is actually going to turn into potentially something really good later on. For me, there's just some issues with it. That is just, I don't know, for me it's like, I can admire Colossus and his, let's go save my sister attitude. On the other hand, I'm just like, dude, you just gotta know when to say no. And then Domino yet chalks up another X-Men for her betting experimentation. Secret Wars Journal. This, originally I thought this was going to be kind of like the Frontline edition books, but basically what this is doing is it's giving us a glimpse as to what's going on. Like, for an example, in this storyline we have a story with the Captain Britain-ish area, because it's like basically the Sheriff of Nottingham time period type thing. Then you have a story with Egypt, and how it's a combination of Moon Knight and the X-Men. Now, the first part I didn't think was the greatest story, but I really did like the X-Men and the Moon Knight one, because it's basically there's this goddess, and then everybody's serving this goddess to make the pyramids and stuff, and there's a group of mutants that are just like, we've had enough of this and we say no, and they try to rebel. So this part was actually, I really enjoyed this. This I want more of, for sure. But I can see where people are going to want the first part, but the second part for me was good. I also like the art for the second part more than I liked the first. Okay, Old Man Logan #1 is probably going to be a #1 pick for these crossover books. Now, this basically takes place, like, just imagine if you read Old Man Logan, it takes place after that. The art is really strong. The fighting is, the art, when you combine the art and the fighting, this was really a very, very, very good beginning. It's really violent. I love the parts where it's like black color, you know, this is what's going on, black scene. Loved it. It's basically Wolverine finds an Ultron head, and he knows that it shouldn't be there. So he basically has to go, and he's going to figure out what's going on. And there's a really great interaction between Emma Frost and Wolverine at the end. This was probably the best of the Secret War tie-in books this week, for sure. Where Monsters Dwell. Okay, this is the book where I feel that this is basically to protect copyright, because this is, you know, they used to have those books Where Monsters Dwell and things. And they probably went to Garth Ennis and they say, hey Garth, we want you to write a book, and he goes, okay, well I want dinosaurs, and they said, okay, here you go. But anyways, it starts off as your typical story where you have this guy, he's this playboyish type of person where, you know, he's playing a bunch of women, and he flies a plane and he comes across this woman who's like, I need you to take me somewhere. I got money. So he's like, I'll take you somewhere. And he gets, he takes the job. Well, when he takes the job, he goes through a storm. And then when the storm clears, he ends up in basically a land where there's dinosaurs. Now, I really don't know if I'm going to be able to take this one. There's a good chance this will probably be my last one, because this is one of those issues I just don't care about. This would technically have been one of my bad or disappointing books, but I kind of expected this to be either bad or disappointing. I really don't see many people jumping onto this one. But again, I really do think this is basically, they're just doing copyright protection for this. Alright, Inhumans. This one wasn't bad. Basically what's going on with Inhumans is this. You have Dr. Doom as the god of this battle, of this world. And each of these battle worlds are run by different rulers. And in this case, this is coming right from the Inhumans, where Medusa is the ruler of the Inhumans. And there's a group of rebels who are up to some no good. Part of the no good is there's a bunch of people that have been turned into Hulks. And they're basically what they call sand Hulks. And they're basically just trying to get these people to regain their sanity again. And the Thors of Justice don't approve of that because, well, one, they're in an area they're not supposed to be in, and two, they're causing mischief. And they capture one of the guys, which is this guy here. And it's basically them handing it over to Medusa for interrogation. And overall, I mean, the storyline I thought was okay. I thought the ending was actually, it was a mixed thing where I was like, that was kind of cool. And other parts going, it's kind of almost expected at the same time. But, it was I'm liking the direction it's going. So I'll definitely get the next issue. But I'm liking how this world is fitting with everything else, I guess, so you can say. Okay, Secret Wars 2099. This one I'm not too sure about, if I'm going to keep going. For me, this didn't feel like a 2099 book. I mean, granted, I never really read much of 2099, but from what I remember, it's not the same vibe. To me, it really didn't hold anything special. It's basically 2099 heroes. They fight a group of villains who stole some, like jewelry or gems or something like that. And that's it. And then, granted, the end part is where things get interesting because you dive into Hercules' subplot, you dive into Captain America's subplot, and that part was kind of cool. They did throw the seed for the next issue, which promises to be better, but I don't know. This to me was one of the weaker of the superhero-ish type books. It just, like I said, it didn't hold a lot of life. It didn't hold a lot of excitement. And the art, for me, was just okay. Infinity Gauntlet. This was one that really... This had me for a loop here because I really was expecting huge. And you don't get huge at all. You see the Novas, you see Star-Lord, you see, Thanos, and you're just like intergalactic battling, flying through spaceships, and what you get actually is a story of Earth that's been ravaged by giant bugs. Just picture Starship Troopers, and then the Earth's been ravaged. This one family's managed to survive, and the mom is a Nova Corps member, and she, because this invasion was so deadly, that she had to go off-world to fight it, to try to stop it. So basically, just imagine an annihilation wave. Annihilation wave is coming. What do? Do you protect Earth, or do you go to the source? You go to the source. And, it's like years, it's like afterwards, and they're like, where's Mom? Well, Mom's dead. Well, you don't say Mom's dead because, she promised she'd come back. And then you see Thanos looking for some rocks. Now, the art I thought was really good, and for me, I liked the story, but it didn't feel like it was an Infinity Gauntlet story. To me, Infinity Gauntlet means, an army of superheroes versus Thanos. And it's so far from that. I can't call it Infinity Gauntlet. But, like I said, I really did enjoy the storyline between the family, and then they had to deal with, in a sense, the loss of Mom. And it's expected. We already know what that last pages are going to hold, so I won't even have to go there. But overall, I actually enjoyed it. I didn't think this was a strong title. Like, for example, compared to like Thor's or not Thor's, A-Force, for an example, or even Old Man Logan. It's not on that kind of a level. I think so far it started off as a nice. I think this might be just that nice, quiet run that's going to give you a decent story at the end if you stick with it. That's what it's hopefully going to pan out to be. But anyways, that is my reviews for Secret Wars. If you have any comments or questions, let me know. Like, share. I do the podcast for Cons, Freaks, and Geeks. Let me know what you guys picked up for Secret Wars, and we'll have more stuff later. So until next time.